Is racism a problem at WashU?
Is racism a problem at WashU? I can say that I have personally had an experience where I felt as though I was being discriminated against. I was sitting outside with a friend of mine, Gerald, and we were just sitting outside of his dorm room, hanging out, talking. I had on this sweatshirt and some WashU sweatpants, and a police officer came up to us and asked us if we were students. And I was kind of appalled. You know, we're sitting here in our WashU gear, just hanging out. Why wouldn't we be students? I mean, whatever.
So do you feel that's a common problem that...
Oh, yes. I have, like, you can ask, lots of black people have had that same issue with the WashU police. At one point, there was a young lady had been, a young lady said that she had her purse stolen, and she gave a description. She said it was a black guy, somewhere between light skin and dark skin, somewhere between 5 and 6 feet. He had on a hoodie and some jeans. Okay, so like, how are you supposed to narrow that down? And then the police go around asking, you know, have you seen this guy? What guy? Like, it's a problem.
Kind of piggybacking on what Audrey said earlier, our freshman year there was an incident where somebody was robbed in front of Park Mud, and the description was very vague. It basically said if you were a black male who ever existed, you were probably a suspect in this crime. Now, I know they said it gave a really large range of how tall they were, like between 5 and 7 foot, really big, saying they wore a red hoodie. Now, I'm a very non-threatening person. I like to think I smile a lot, pretty friendly. One day, walking back to my dorm in Darvick, I was wearing a red WashU thermal, the WashU printed clearly right here. I was holding my card, swiping into my building. As I'm swiping, I'm stopped by WUPD and asked if I'm a student at the university. Later on that same year, walking back from the village, I was walking by Siegel, which when it was still being constructed, stopped and asked if I was vandalizing Siegel and held for 20 minutes by WUPD. I've gone frequently in front of my own dorm, had the police called on me for just standing outside or talking to friends, people suspecting I'm not a student. And I feel like it's a problem here not only because, like, you know, this shouldn't happen to anyone just based on, you know, how they look, but I feel like I worked really hard to get into an institution like this, and I shouldn't have to prove my status as a student every time I step outside my dorm. I feel like my transcript proved that I'm a student, and that me being here shouldn't be questioned every time that something goes down. I should not be prime suspect number 1. He should not be prime suspect number 1. Like, to me, it's just kind of ridiculous how race is handled on this campus. And even questions like, are you an affirmative action admitted student? Or do you really think that Obama should have been president? Like, these questions are asked to me and never asked my white counterparts. And that's something, like, there's a whole attitude that WashU needs to be addressed when it comes to race. It's my thing.